Okay, hey. Welcome to Tucson New Thought. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz, and boy, we've had quite an interesting morning this beautiful Mother's Day morning. It's May 13th, 2018. We've tried going live. I've tried going live a couple of times, keep getting kicked off, and so we're just going to do an archive recording of today's celebration. So I want to first of all say welcome and thank you for joining us this morning here at Tucson New Thought. It's a beautiful day, and I've been the not being able to go live right here in my own office is actually it's an interesting thing because I got up early. I was out at the park this morning to try and find a beautiful location for today's celebration. That ended up all falling through. So it's been a technically challenging day. But let's take a breath and relax right where we are, because we will not allow the technology to get in the way of what it is we are here to do, which is to celebrate. Celebrate the idea that we are a spiritual community. We are one. We are an infinite wholeness that is expressing as each and every one of us individualized. So here's our vision. Our vision at Tucson New Thought is to create a world that works for everyone. And the way we create a world that works for everyone is by providing practical tools for spiritual transformation. And also, by doing that, we are awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. The thing that I'm going to say is that it all starts right here. It starts here, within each and every one of us. So let's take that to heart today as we step into our spiritual practice of celebration. To lead us off today, we're going to hear a beautiful centering song from our beautiful group that works with us here at Tucson New Thought, Olivia Avanzado and Nadia Stefanik, who are known collectively as Via Dia. So I invite you to take a breath, relax, release, let go, and simply allow.
Your heart takes in my voice. Let us free each other with our prayers, with our voice. Om Namo Gurudev.
So lovely. Allows me to really come into a deep place of center. I feel much more relaxed than I did right at the top of today. And that's the power that we have to simply fall into spiritual practice and really get to the core of who we are. When we do that, then everything is perfect. Everything falls into place. So that's what I call upon today. Our practitioner today I'm so grateful for her, and she's another practitioner I trained at the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto when I served there as the spiritual director. And she decided today that she wanted to come to us from one of my favorite places, which is High Park in Toronto. And she went there specifically because it is right now that the cherry blossoms are in bloom. So here, with some inspiration and a spiritual mind treatment, is Lena DeSanto.
Hi, this is Lena DeSanto, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner with the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto. I was inspired today to come down to the park as it's cherry blossom time in High Park in Toronto. This is an ancient Japanese culture tradition that goes back hundreds of years. And many people come during this time, busloads in fact. This is early in the week, so it's not as busy as on weekends. But it's a beautiful sunny day, and within 2 days, the trees have gone from buds to almost full blossom, as you can see behind me. So let's take in this beauty. And also the representation of the cherry blossoms is about the fragility and the beauty of life. It's a reminder that life is almost overwhelmingly beautiful, but it is also tragically short. And we need to keep that in mind, and that's why it is so celebrated when the cherry blossom trees come. It's a reminder to enjoy life in its full beauty, its full glory, moment by moment, day by day. So for this, I am so grateful to be here in this moment, to witness the blossoming of the trees, to witness the beauty in nature, and the life and joy that it gives to each and every one of us, but also to remember that it is within us. So let's take a breath, enjoy the beauty, enjoy this time, remembering that life is within us, through us, around us, everywhere that we go. Breathing in. And taking that time and moment to be with each other, to say yes to life, to say yes to beauty, to say yes to joy and peace and our surroundings everywhere present. Living life in the fullest, right here, right now. I'm so happy to be able to share this moment with each of you. And Reverend Jonathan, I know you have witnessed the cherry blossoms in Toronto, and this is especially for you and the community that joins you right here, right now. Love, life, light, and all things good. Happy to be with each of you, and trusting and knowing that your life is unfolding with ease and grace, with perfection of all that is. Right here, right now. Knowing that my word spoken is done to offer up a moment of beauty, a moment of nature, a moment of life. Letting go, letting it be so, knowing that life is in its perfection right here, right now. And together we say, and so it is. Bye for now. Love to you all.
And so it is. Thank you for sharing that with us today, Lena. Really beautiful. It is one of the things that I do miss about Toronto is being able to go see the cherry blossoms in the spring. And I would, every year, I would keep an eye at, they had a website, the Cherry Blossom Watch website, and I would go and I would see when is the peak time that they anticipate the cherry blossoms will bloom. And it varies year to year depending on how the weather has gone. But it's really remarkable, and it really speaks to the nature of nature and how it unfolds itself in terms of creation, and how that creation is absolutely beautiful and also fragile. And each and every one of us is like that blossom. We have our time here, and we get to experience it as best we can. And today, let's ensure that we experience it to the fullest. So to take us on the next step of our journey, I'm going to welcome back Via Dia, who are going to give us a beautiful song I'll just let it speak for itself. Enjoy.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, but you can't find the fighter. But I see it in you, so we gon' work it out. Ooh, mountain, we gon' work it out. And mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, man, I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the age. I'll rise up, then I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move, mountains. Take the world to its feet and move, mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, then I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for all we need is hope. That we have each other. That we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. We'll rise. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the age. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, high like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the age. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you.
Oh, that's beautiful. Very sweet. And one of those things, I had to laugh a little bit because it's one of those technological things that just, again, today is a technologically challenging day. I texted my sister and said, it's funny, Mercury's not even in retrograde. And I don't really buy into that all that much, although sometimes it does seem like there's validity to it when things unfold in a particular way. But Mercury's not in retrograde, so what the heck is happening today? Perhaps because it's Mother's Day, where there are a lot of people who are online and Skyping or Zooming or FaceTiming their mothers. And so maybe there's just a lot of traffic that has prohibited the ease and flow of the live experience today. So today, what I really wanted to talk about, today's talk is called Mother's Nature. And partially, I think about Lena's video where she showed us the beautiful, beautiful cherry blossoms in High Park. And this past week, I was actually in Los Angeles for a few days. I was helping my father with some stuff. And there was one point where we were driving over Laurel Canyon and from the valley into the LA basin to go do some stuff. And as we were driving along, there are these steep hills on the side as we drive along. And I was looking out, watching the dirt pass by. And it's a lot of dirt and grass and things like that. But there were a bunch of flowers too. I was in the passenger seat and I'm just watching everything as we drive by. And I was just really struck by these flowers in that moment. They just grew. They were just growing there. They didn't have to try to grow. And they were growing in a place ostensibly that was less than hospitable or supportive to their growth. But they just grew. And they blossomed. And they unfolded. They were beautiful. And that's their tendency. It got me to thinking a lot about our tendencies. How do we tend to show up? How do we tend to show up in life? Are we like those blossoms, even in what can seemingly be inhospitable circumstances? Are we showing up as the blossom, or are we allowing ourselves to shrivel up? And if we are allowing ourselves to shrivel up in some capacity, if we're allowing ourselves to simply not bloom, where did we learn this? Where did we learn that that was what was expected? And why are the flowers not subject to that? And here's the answer that I have. Here's the answer that I come up with. Choice. Choice is the great gift that we have as expressions of this infinite divine energy. We have the power of choice in our life. Now, I don't know about the flowers. I don't think that they have a self-awareness. So they don't really have choice, because to have choice, there must be self-awareness so that you understand what that choice is all about. Thinking that they don't have that self-awareness, they don't have choice, they just grow. And sometimes I think it might be better if we just grew, if we just allowed ourselves. But choice is the great gift, and it's also the great thing that holds us back a lot of the time. Ernest Holmes wrote this. He wrote, "There is a tendency on the part of all of us to reproduce the accumulated subjective experiences of the human race." And I know that's a mouthful, right? I'm going to say it again. There is a tendency on the part of all of us to reproduce the accumulated subjective experiences of the human race. So I'm going to unpack this a little bit for you. So the tendency is our habitual side, right? Our tendency is how we habitually allow our lives to unfold. And what we are tending to do is to reproduce what is in what we call the race consciousness, the collective consciousness, that consciousness that is all around us, that we've taken on from the experiences that we've had. It can come from our family dynamic. It can come from our friend dynamic. It can come from school. It can come from any number of things. But what happens is we take these things on in our own mind, and we reproduce and reproduce and reproduce the experiences of that until we decide not to. Now, it's a two-way street. It is a two-way street, because in reproducing those things, we're actually reinforcing the tendency, and we add to it. So we reinforce the tendency, and what happens? We reproduce the effect. It's actually a big old, it's a big old cycle. In reproducing, we reinforce the tendency, and the other side of that street is in reinforcing, we reproduce the effect. And essentially what we are doing in that is we are giving up our choice. That is why change sometimes feels insurmountable. Sometimes, have you ever felt that? Like change just feels insurmountable sometimes? The truth is, our conscious mind, which is the tool that we have, our conscious mind, that place in our mind where we are aware, it is the tool that we have for creating our experience. And frankly, it can easily become lazy if we allow it. And when we become lazy in conscious mind, we simply go right into that default setting, which is the subjective tendency, our habitual thinking. Whatever has created our life to this point will continue to reproduce and recreate and reproduce and recreate. This is the law of cause and effect in motion. And the law of cause and effects never stops. It never ceases. It simply acts accordingly. That is its nature. The law of cause and effect just does. That is its nature. And its nature is the mother of creation. So mother's nature is creation. It is never ceasing. It is always happening through us. And we can either be purposefully, actively on the side of really making creation happen the way we would like to, or we can just let it show up willy-nilly based on whatever thoughts have come into our mind from our previous experience, and we're going to experience the flow of that. All creation gestates in the womb of the subjective. And frankly, we should allow it to do so, but it is up to us to take that causative idea in our conscious mind and impress it into that subjective. Now we can do this, we should allow this to happen, and we can do this without any compulsion. There is absolutely no compulsion required on our part to let creation happen by means of us. See, what happens is we come into this philosophy. We get hung up on this idea. Change your thinking, change your life. Change your thinking, change your life. Change your thinking, change your life. We think that a change in thought, we become to believe that a change in thought, well, it must be hard. Right? It must be hard. So if I'm really going to get this stuff, I'm going to compel it to happen. So we go to that place of compulsion. We're going to really force it to happen. We don't have to do that. Let's step back from that paradigm. It's not hard. So today, I'm going to suggest if there's any part of you that feels like you have to compel the law of cause and effect to unfold in the way you would like it to unfold, let go of that notion. Let go of it. I'm here to say, let yourself off the hook. If you fall back on a habitual tendency in mind that you want to shift, be gentle with yourself. Because once you recognize it, you can do something about it. You can remind yourself that you are the one who is in charge, and then get back on the path of change. You are not a victim in any way to the circumstances of your life. You are the person who sets those circumstances and who changes them if you want them to be changed. This is all part of our natural evolution. It's natural evolution. Evolution, Ernest Holmes defines evolution like this. When intelligence makes a demand upon itself, it answers its own demand out of its own nature and cannot help doing so. When intelligence, we are intelligent beings. We have self-awareness. We have choice. We can act intelligently. When intelligence makes a demand upon itself, when we are making a demand upon ourselves, it answers its own demand. We answer our own demand out of our own nature and cannot help doing so. So what we're looking to do here is to set the course of our own nature on only that which is productive and loving and graceful and easeful and supportive. If you're ready to change, if you are ready for change in your life, relax, release, allow, and state your requirement. State it out loud. Say it out loud. When thoughts come up in you, as you state that out loud, as you state that idea out loud, if there are thoughts that come up in you that don't support that idea, that do not support that requirement, that do not support that demand, relax, recognize, and rethink. You are the embodiment of intelligence. So we relax into that knowing. As this embodiment, you are in charge. You can see the effect. You can see the effects of your thinking everywhere. So step away from denial. Frequently what ends up happening is we try to deny the effects. We see something happen. Oh, that didn't happen because we're God. We are good. All is well. That's called spiritual bypassing. Do not step into deny. Frequently, as we deny the effect, we're going to continue to create new cause based on that denial. And so we keep recreating the same thing. We must be willing to recognize the effect with the firm knowledge that we can change it. That is the power that we have. The only way to change it is to create new cause. We create a new causative idea in our mind by rethinking. It's not hard, and we don't need to compel it. All we need to do is easefully set our mind aright. Land upon the spiritual truth. The spiritual truth of any situation is that spirit is love, and love is good, and all that ever wants to unfold is good. Ruminate on that. All that ever wants to unfold is good. That is the will of this infinite divine energy. What does that feel like? From the necessity of change comes the change you seek. Stepping into that necessity allows change to unfold. It allows a tapping into the depths of infinite intelligence. And it is from the depths of infinite intelligence that all good, all love, all perfect invention flows forth. That is how we can embody the understanding that necessity is the mother of invention. It is the perfect outcome of intelligent mind. And you and I, we are using mind at all times. So let's truly step into using it intelligently. You are the center of creation. You are both father and mother to all that you seek. Mother's nature is to create from a loving and compassionate and joyful place. Take a step into proving this on a daily basis. That is my call to you for this week. Step into deciding that you want to prove this every single day, and allow yourself to honor that spirit that is you. Namaste. And so, grateful for being able to offer a little bit of insight into what's been happening in my mind this week. I invite you to take out whatever it is you're going to offer today. Allow yourself to understand that it is a gift of circulation, and it supports this center so that we can actually build up our infrastructure so we don't have things like what happened today unfold in the way that it happened today, so that we can truly come to you live and we can start to build a spiritual community right here in Tucson. And in building the spiritual community, also allow ourselves to meet in person and create more and more and more and more. This is all done through your support. And so I invite you and encourage you, frankly, to take a look at that donate button, which is in the description of the Facebook feed. Or if you're watching this on the website, there are donate buttons on the website, TucsonNewThought.org. And you can make a contribution today in support of the vision of this center, which is to create a world that works for everyone. And we do this through what exactly we experienced today, celebration, providing those practical tools for spiritual nourishment and awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. I'm so grateful for all that you give to this center, and I'm so grateful that you've decided to be a part of this center. And so with that, let's take a breath. Allow ourselves to come to a centered place, relaxing into the now, relaxing into this moment, and simply being. Recognizing that at the core is God, at the core is love, at the core is infinite spirit. That is who and what we are. And so, with gratitude, let's step into a time of benediction and spiritual mind treatment. If you'd like to close your eyes, I welcome you to do so as we relax into this time. With the fullness and understanding that right here, right now, there is only one power. There is only one presence. There is only good. There is only God. And this is who each and every one of us is. We are the very presence of this infinite divine energy showing up as ourselves, living its life as our own, loving its love as our own, experiencing everything that it is in our own unique, perfect, individualized way. There's absolutely no separation. We are God. We are love. We are infinite spirit. There is not spirit and something else. There is only spirit. And so knowing this and trusting this, I stake my claim right here and right now. I make my requirement right here and right now for each and every one of us that we are unfolding in terms of good. We are unfolding in life in terms of love. We are continuing to allow that mother's nature to unfold in its magnificence by means of each and every one of us. Trusting this, knowing this, and allowing this to be so. And with a deeply grateful heart, I simply say, yes, yes, yes. I accept fully, wholeheartedly, and gratefully this good. And so letting it be, I simply allow by releasing this word as law, knowing it is done, as together we say, and so it is. Thank you for joining me here today. And thank you for your patience as we have worked through our technical experiences today. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Keep an eye out on all of our goings-on by checking out the Tucson New Thought Facebook page, checking out our website, and generally keeping in touch. If you'd like to sign up for our mailing list, please do that. It's available right on TucsonNewThought.org. At the very bottom of the homepage is a form to fill out so you can join our mailing list and always be informed as to what's happening. Love you all. Have a really wonderful and very happy Mother's Day. Namaste.